Hey, how's everybody doing out there? This is Black Men Taking Our Community Back, here with another segment that is very, very dear to my heart called Win on Purpose. This is one installment that is going to be a part of an ongoing series. This one is going to begin with wealth creation for Black folks, or anybody who is listening, but primarily for Black folk, and what I feel will, invigorate the African American community in generations and generations to come. The reason why this particular Win on Purpose wealth creation segment is so important is because I think that it fits more so with the very nature of your average African American person in America. This is not an untested theory. This is something that has been proven to work. I've done it myself, have been doing it for a while. I know other successful Black men and women that have implemented this strategy, and it has worked flawlessly every single time. The reason I like it so much is because it's not predicated on everybody becoming some big entrepreneur. With this plan, you can essentially build wealth the same as an entrepreneur would, even while working for somebody. There's a Chinese proverb that you may have to familiarize yourself with in order to truly implement this plan the best. This proverb is called eating bitter. And what eating bitter essentially means is that we're living far beneath our means. And in my case, and soon to be your case, at least 50% below your means. Now, I know you're probably asking yourself, so what's the name of this plan and why does it work so well specifically for African Americans? Let me explain. Me understanding African Americans and the way we typically think, we're sprinters. We like to move fast out of the gate. We like to see big results. We like to see big things happen very fast. We also tend to have shorter attention spans whenever it comes to long-term things. So as a result, this plan, I feel, is a better strategy for tackling this big beast called wealth creation. Not only that, we also know how to live on little and make little work for us in big ways. That instant gratification component of this plan that really triggers those endorphins, all of these things are necessary for long-term implementation. And that's why this strategy really works. I call this plan the 50-50 plan, whereby you take 50% of your earnings, stash that away into some type of savings account, and the other 50% you take that and put in your pocket. All right, now let's see how this works in the real world. You take a person that's making, let's say, $60,000, and we're gonna alleviate the taxes for the moment, just for the simple math. And we say 60,000, you're gonna take 30,000 and you're gonna live off of it. The other 30,000, you're gonna put that in some investment or investment savings account. All right. Now, what's the good news? The good news is that you're going to have $30,000 in your bank account in real raw cash at the end of the year. What's the bad news? The bad news is that all of your broke friends are going to appear to be living so much better than you. But what they don't know, but what you know, is that, yeah, they may look like they're doing a whole lot better, but you know that you're actually doing a whole lot better. But that's a question that you have to ask yourself. Would you rather look like you're doing better or actually be doing better? Now, why is this so important? Okay, in a new recent study done in 2013 by the Corporation for Economic Development and the Institute of Policy Studies, the report findings were kind of staggering. It focuses on the average wealth of Black, Latino, and white households in the United States and uses data from the Survey of Consumer Finance. The wealth is a culmination of the value of assets, including home or retirement savings, subtracted by the debts owed against assets, right? Unlike other measures of wealth by race, this figure in the report excludes the value of durable goods like cars and electronics and things of that sort. In 2013, Black households on average have a total net worth of about $85,000. Latinos have about $98,000. And whites have about $656,000. What does this mean? This essentially means that in order for Blacks to even match the gap, not catch up, but match the gap, it would take blacks at least 228 years to even match what whites have earned in America. This is kind of scary. And what it shows is that blacks are not producing nowhere close to what we need to be producing in order to be competitive in these new global markets of tomorrow. So 50-50 plan, anybody? All right, implementation time. This is how it's going to work. Listen up. All right, you're going to take the first year. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take 50% of our income, and then we're going to max out at least 3 months of living expenses for that first year, and you're going to max out that savings, right? Everything else is going to go into your desired. First of all, you need to max out that 401k at your job. You're going to max out that 401k and get all of the money that they match. All right. And then you're going to start your own mutual fund, right? And then everything after the 3 months for this first year is going to go into your investment savings, which will be a separate mutual fund, not your 401k, but another mutual fund, preferably a liquid mutual fund that you could take the money in and out if you need to. But of course, we want to leave it in for long-term purposes. All right. Now, year number 2, what we're going to do is we're going to take that same, remember that 3 months of living expenses, we want to expand that. We want to expand that to 6 months of living expenses for that second year. And the rest of the money is going to go where? Back into the investment savings category. All right. Now, year 3. We're going to take that same 6 months of living expenses and we're going to expand upon that another 3 months. So we're going to add 9 months of living expenses, and then the rest of it is going to go where? Into your investment savings. Okay, now let's look at this. In 3 years, you should have approximately $90,000. Now, this is nice because you have $90,000 that you raised in 3 years. Now, this is the sweet spot. You have, of that $90,000, $22,500 in just your emergency fund money. Now, this is assuming that you're living by the principles and you're eating better, being good instead of just looking good, and your monthly expenses all total about $2,500 a month. Now, when you extrapolate that over 9 months, you'll have $22,500. Okay, and that's that emergency fund. And this is the good part. You're also going to have $67,500 working for you in the market, accumulating anywhere from 5 to 10 to maybe even 15% compound interest every single year. And you've been doing this for what? 3 years. And in a decent market, that same $67K can easily become $81,000 in just those 3 years in a good market. So what are we going to do in year 4? The same thing, but we're just going to expand that emergency fund to a year of monthly expenses. Now, what will year 4 look like after implementing the 50-50 plan, making $60,000 a year? And like I said, we're not including taxes, okay? $60,000 a year using a 50-50 plan would have you at a total net worth of $120,000. Okay. Now, this is not accounting for what it could possibly be in the market. So you'll have $30,000 of yearly monthly expenses and about $90,000 that will be working for you in the market, which could easily be gaining 10, 15 or 5% in the market, compound interest. Now you see how easily this wealth creation can become. Now, when you're sitting looking at $120,000 of real wealth in your bank account, that is motivating. That can get those endorphins really moving. Okay. And that's where you want to be, because when you see that, it will motivate you to keep that ball turning. And this is working for somebody else. Now, this is what we want to do for our legacy. For our legacy, we want to think in terms of insurance. We want to have a nice term policy, nothing fancy. We don't need to get into the, variable life, all these life, whole life, none of that. Just real simple. term life insurance, basic policy on everybody in the family. Okay, first step. Second step, if you make $60,000 a year, I'm gonna need you to leave at least, at minimum, a $250,000 legacy. Now, this will happen over the span of 30 years, okay? So after 30 years, you need to leave at least, at minimum, $250,000 in total assets, okay? Now, this can come in the form of houses, or your home, or, anything that will appreciate in value. Not a car, but we want to think in terms of homes, 401ks, investment savings accounts, or even savings accounts. But no matter what, you need to leave. If you make $60,000 a year, if the household makes $60,000 a year total, then you need to leave a minimum of $250,000 for your legacy. Now, this is going for the children, for the next generation. And you need to leave this to them at around 40 years of age. You want to set up a trust fund. You want to have an arbitrator to disseminate those funds to your family members appropriately, but after about 40 years of age. And then you need to let them know that they can't take advantage of these funds unless they're going to leave another $250,000 or more for the next generation, depending on how much money that they make. Hopefully they'll make more than you. And of course, we have to keep up with inflation. Now, if you make $100,000 a year, you need to leave $500,000 for your legacy. This is just a minimum, okay? Minimum of $500,000 for your legacy, again, for your children at the age of about 40. If you make $200,000 a year, then you need to leave $1 million for your children at age 40. This is non-negotiable, people. $1 million. If you make $200,000, you need to leave at least $1 million for your children at age 40. Okay? Now, men, I have to talk to you men now, because I know women will not get this concept. That's why it's very important for men to be in the household. Men, if your child is a degenerate, if your child marries somebody that you don't approve, if your child is a crackhead or a thug or a Pookie and a Ray Ray, be honest. You have to be honest now. You leave them nothing. If you have an only child, find another child to leave your legacy to. Don't leave your legacy to a crackhead, a Pookie, a Ray Ray, or any degenerate form of blackmail that you could have possibly created on accident. Listen, it happens. Find a Negro college fund to invest that money in. Find another, successful black child in the neighborhood. Leave your money to him. Just do it. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to perpetuate the Pookie. You don't want to leave your legacy to a Pookie and Ray Ray, because they will ruin your legacy and your name will be forgotten. And not only will it be forgotten, it will be shamed while you lay in the grave. Okay? So men, please don't leave your money to a Pookie or Ray Ray or undesirable. Just leave it somewhere else. All right. Peace. I'm out.